Good evening. We're going to get started. Please take more food while we continue. Mazel tov to all the Masayimim and Maseches Bava Basra, Daf Yomi. Should continue on to Sanhedrin and many other Masechtas. We should all take learning from your dedication and continue our dedication, going stronger and stronger. This summer we're doing an overview, a crash course in Vayikra. Every week we're going through a chunk of material. Obviously, we can't go into too much detail, but we're trying to get a feel for what's going on. The past 2 weeks, we had an introduction and went through the first 7 prakim of Vayikra, which is Parshas Vayikra and half of Parshas Tzav, which has most of the halachas, the main halachas of the karbanos. Now we're up to another chunk. We'll do prakim Ches, Tes, and Yud, 8 to 10 in Sefer Vayikra. I recommend that everybody have a chumash because we're going to be flipping around a lot this week, more than usual. I have 2 sheets up here, one in gray, which is an overview of all of Vayikra, and one in green, which is specifically for tonight. I recommend tonight because it also has a calendar, which will help us get a feel for what's going on. Tonight we're going to do something different, a unique night. Vayikra you think of, and if you look at the gray page, it's all about halachas, the halachas of karbanos. Tuma, Vitara, Mitzora, Tazriya, what's kosher, what's not kosher. You think about halachas, it's actually a story behind all of Vayikra. And tonight, this might be obvious to some people, but I'm trying to teach the story of what is going on behind all the halachas of Vayikra. To do that, we're going to need to flip. So let's first look at, you can even just look at the green sheet, Perek Ches. What's going on there? So remember, they learned all the halachas. First 5 prakim of Vayikra were the halachas for Bnei Yisrael, what they needed to know about the karbanos. Then came the next 2 prakim, which are what the Kohanim needed to know. Now we're up to Perek Ches. Perek Chet. We have some Achenu Bnei Sfarad here. I'll try to be multilingual. So Perek Chet begins with Moshe Rabbeinu, or Hashem telling Moshe Rabbeinu to take Aaron and his sons and to prepare them for 7 days. These are the Shivas Yemei Miluim, the first karbanos brought in the Mishkan when the Kohanim are trained how to be a Kohen. Normally, a Kohen starts trains for how many years? Anybody know how many years does a Kohen normally train? 5 years, right. This was a crash course in Kahuna where they had 7 days where they learned everything they needed to know about how to do karbanos. So that's Perek Ches. Those 7 days where Moshe was the Kohen, and he taught Aaron and his sons how to be a Kohen for 7 days.
Well, it was the initial time. That's why they only got 7 days.
They only had 7 days. This was the crash. This is all they had time to learn.
Anyway.
And then comes Perek Tes. Vayhi bayom hashmini. That's the extra day in which the Kohanim, that was the first time where they did it, and they had a special extra korban. So let's turn in our Chumashim to Perek Tes. Vayikra Perek Tes is page 267, the normal one. Pasuk Beis. Vayomer el Aaron, kach lecha. So let's take count here. Egel ben bakar lechatat. So he has a cow, a young cow for a chatat. Ve'ayil le'ola tamimim. And he has a sheep for an ola. So an egel, a cow, and a sheep. A calf, good. So but I'm going to say it as a cow. You'll see why in a minute. And then pasuk gimel v'bnei Yisrael tedaber lemor kechu seir izim lechatat. Take a goat, a seir, for a chatas. Okay. What do we have now? So you're keeping count. A cow, a sheep, and a goat. Okay, now let's turn to Perek Tes Zayin, 16. Pasuk Beis. This is talking about Yom Kippur. It's a voda of the Kohen Gadol Yom Kippur. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, daber el Aaron achicha val yavo b'choleis el kodesh mibeis la parochas al pnei hakavod. Sorry, that's not the right pasuk that I'm looking for. The next one, Gimel. Bezos yavo Aaron el kodesh befar ben bakar lechatos, a cow for a chatos, ve'ayil le'olah, and a sheep. You're getting too complicated. Let's just speak in general. A cow, ve'ayil, and a sheep for an olah. And then as we go further, there are 2 seirim, 2 goats. One goes to Azazel, and one goes to Hashem on the korban. So again, here also we have a cow, a sheep, and a goat. So the Ramban says, what's this extra day, the Yom Shmini? This extra day is a kapara for Chet HaEgel. These extra korbanos are just like the korban of Yom Kippur because they need a special kapara for Chet HaEgel before it all begins. Before the Mishkan, let's think back to what happened. Har Sinai, Maimon Har Sinai, they got a lot of, after that Mishpatim, they got a lot of halachot. Then came a commandment to build the Mishkan. Then came Chet HaEgel. Now they have the Mishkan, they learned all about korbanos, but they still need to bring a kapara, a special korbanos for the Chet HaEgel before they're fully restored, and then it can all begin. So at the beginning of Perek Tes, they bring these korbanos, that one day. On the 8th day, they bring these korbanos, they become full, and let's look at the end. Skip to the end of Perek Tes. This is unbelievable. Pasuk Chav Beis in Perek Tes. Vayisa Aaron es yadav el ha'am vayivarchem. He brings their korbanos, everything goes well. Aaron lifts up his hands and he blesses the nation. Vayerid ma'asos hachatas, and he comes down from doing the chatas v'olav hashlamim, from bringing these korbanos. He comes down from bringing these korbanos, for which they got kapar for Chet HaEgel, and he blesses the nation. And then the next pasuk is also Vayavo Moshe ve'Aaron Elohim Moed Vayitzu Vayirchu es ha'am. So both Moshe and Aaron go out, they bless the people. Vayira Chavod Hashem El Kol Ha'am. Kavod Hashem. The Shechina comes down to everybody. Vatetzei Eish Milifnei Hashem, and the fire comes out from Hashem. Vatochal al Mizbeach. It goes onto the altar. Es ha'olav es ha'chalavim, and it eats up all the karbanos. Vayar kol. So what's happening now? It's working. Vayar kol ha'am vayaronu. All the people see it, and they praise Hashem. Vayiplu al pneihem, and they fall down. Beautiful. It all works. What happens next? Pasuk Perek Yud. You know what happens next? Vayichuv ne Aaron nadav avihu, nadav and avihu. They come. They bring this ish zara. They're killed. Hashem sends in Mishael ve'el Safan, their brothers, to take them out. And then the Kohanim get extra laws. Don't drink before you do the avodah. And then all sorts of other halachos. And that's the end of Perek Yud, more or less. You have the summary right in front of you. So that's what we're looking at now. And what I'm trying to tell you is there's much more going on here than we just explained. There's a whole story unfolding that will explain all of Sefer Vayikra, half of Sefer Shmos, and the beginning of Sefer Bamidbar. So what do you need? Simple question. What do you need? There's more than one answer. What do you need to do to bring korbanos? Let's start brainstorming. Shout out some answers. That's the worst possible answer, but you're correct. If you do a sin, you need animals. You need animals, right?
Clean animals.
You need animals. Good.
Mizbeach is prepared. You need tools that are prepared.
So you need kalim. You need, let's say, kohanim to do it. And what you said originally, you said you need a mizbeach. You need a mishkan.
I thought you meant what you mean as a person to bring korban.
I know what you thought, and you were absolutely right. It was a trick question. I was looking for one answer, but everybody here said something that was correct. Good. Okay, so let's go back to Shmos, the last Perek Mem in Shmos, Pasuk Yud Zayin. Perek Mem, Pasuk Yud Zayin. Vayehi b'chodesh harishon b'shana hashenit be'echad lachodesh hukam hamishkan. The first year after Yetzias Mitzrayim. I'm sorry, the first month, Perek Mem, Pasuk Yud Zayin, the first month, the second year after Yetzias Mitzrayim. So when did Yetzias Mitzrayim happen? It happened in Nisan, right? Nisan. So now we're in the next year, Nisan, basically a year later, minus 14 days or 15 days. Be'echad lachodesh, on the first day, Hukam HaMishkan. The Mishkan is up. The Mishkan is up, so now that's the end of Sefer Shmos. More or less. Not too much left going on there. Okay, now let's look at Vayikra, Perek Aleph, Pasuk Aleph. What's happening here? Vayikra Moshe, Vaydaber Hashem Elov me'ohel moed lemor. Hashem is calling out to Moshe from Ohel Moed, from on top of the Aron. They had the Kruvim, and Hashem is calling out to him from the Kruvim. Once you have the Mishkan, Hashem is calling out to Moshe from there. That's the beginning of Sefer Vayikra. Okay, now let's skip to Perek Zayin, Pasuk Lamed Ches.
So the Shivya Malum were 7 days prior to Echad Nisan.
That's debatable. You're entering dangerous territory. Let's hold on and we'll debate that in a few minutes. So beginning of the Korbanos section, they're standing. They have Ohel Moed already. They already have the Mishkan built for Hashem to speak out from it. Now we're at the end. Perek Zayin is the end of the Korbanos section. Asher tziva Hashem es Moshe behar Sinai. Hashem commanded Moshe. This is Perek Zayin Pasuk Lamed Ches. Hashem commanded Moshe at Har Sinai. They're still at Har Sinai. So they haven't moved yet from Har Sinai. They have the Mishkan erected. Hashem is speaking out. They're still at Har Sinai. Okay, that's Perek Zayin. Now, Perek Yud, which we just read. Perek Tes, which we just read, begins Vayhi Bayom Hashmini, on the 8th day. I'm going somewhere here. Now let's skip to the end. This is famous. The very first pasuk in Parshas Bahar, Perek Chavhei, pasuk Aleph. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe. Were they Behar Sinai? They still haven't moved. All the way at the end of Sefer Vayikra, they're still at Har Sinai. And it's 2 more times in the Sefer. I'm not even gonna quote it for you, but it's there. So yes, but no. Wait. Everybody agrees. If there's a date, the date is correct. So let's go to Sefer Bamidbar. Oh, so let's first say, all of Vayikra happens throughout approximately 9 days. The whole Sefer, from beginning to end, 9 days. Okay, now if we look at the background, so Sefer Shmos, you don't have to flip. Perek Chavtes. So actually, let's look at it briefly, because this is Perek Chavtes in Parshas Tetzaveh, is where Hashem commands exactly what happens in Vayikra Perek Ches. V'zeh the Perek Chavtes pasuk Aleph. V'zeh davar sher ta'aseh lahem lakadesh osam lachahen li. This is what you should do. Hashem tells Moshe, this is what you do to get the Kohanim ready to serve in the Mishkan. And then the rest of the Perek is just telling him exactly what to do, and that came true in Vayikra Perek Ches, in our Perek. So what happened between Perek Chavtes and now is Perek Lamed Beis, which is Chet HaEgel. So after Chet HaEgel, then came Parakim Lamed Hey to Lamed Tes, 35 to 39, where we're recommanded, Vayakel Pekudei, we're recommanded to build the Mishkan, and to build all the Kelim and the Begadim of the Kohanim. And then 1 Nisan of the second year, 1 Nisan, Hukam HaMishkan. The Mishkan is erected finally after all that, from Truma to Tzaveh, all the way to the end. Pekudei, that is all fulfilled in 1 Nisan. Vayikra 1 to 7 that we learned last week, when was that taught? That day that Moshe Rabbeinu put up the Mishkan, 1 Nisan, all 7 prakim were taught. First 5 to all of Klal Yisrael, and the last 2 to the Kohanim. And all of Klal Yisrael could eavesdrop. All of that happened in one big sheer klali that Moshe Rabbeinu taught on that one day, Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And then after that, after Prakim Aleph to Zayin, came the 7 days, the first day of those 7 days when the Kohanim were being trained, right? The 5 years, that was a 7-day crash course. That first day was the day that Moshe Rabbeinu taught all of Sefer Vayikra, right? Because the Kohanim have to know what to do. So that first day, can imagine, it's pretty grueling. They got to hear Moshe Rabbeinu teach all the halachos, and then Aaron and his sons had to actually do it or be part of it. They had to learn it. That was the first day that they learned it. Then came another 6 days. And then after that came Yom Hashmini, which was the day when the Kohanim actually did it themselves, a kapara for Chet HaEgel. And on that same day, Nadav and Avihu died. Mishal and Elzaphan had to take them out. But before that happened, let's look again at Perek Tes, at the end. Right? Aaron brings the korbanos on the 8th day, blesses Klal Yisrael. It's not just the apex of Vayikra until now, these 9 prakim. It's the apex from Parshas Truma. All these prakim that happened before, the climax is Aaron giving the bracha. So what is the bracha that he gives? Says Rashi on Perek Tes, Pasuk Chav Beis, Vayivarchem. Can anyone guess without looking? Birkos Kohanim. Okay. Ramban says no. Aaron just gave him a bracha. He gave him a bracha. Okay, so 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, I went to Eretz Yisrael. And my daughter was in seminary, so I happened to bump into someone who teaches in Yeshivat Ateret Kohanim in the Muslim quarter of the Old City. And he said, you have to come to the yeshiva and to meet the Rosh Yeshiva of Shalom Aviner. So I said, okay, Muslim quarter, it's got to be interesting. You take me. I don't want to go alone wandering around the Muslim quarter. You take me exactly where we go. So I went in. I brought my daughter with me. I said, can I bring my daughter? She's in seminary. He said, yes. Won't go to the base measure. She'll go in a side room. So he took me there. We went to a side room, and they brought the Rosh Yeshiva, and we had a Gevaldik Shmooze. It was really nice. And at the end, I figured I'm not the type to do this, but I'm with the Rosh Yeshiva. He's an Adam Gadol, big Talmud Chacham. I have a single daughter in seminary, so I said, can I have a bracha? Right? So you have a single daughter. What do you expect the bracha to be? Shiduchin, Bayis Ne'eman B'Yisrael. So he says, Yevrech, I'll give you a Birkat Kohanim, Yevrech Hashem V'Yishmerecha, and he goes through it. I was a little disappointed. I said, maybe also I'll have a Sachan learning, and my children, I'll see. And I kind of, and he's like, yeah, amen. And I tried to lead him to give me a bigger bracha. So what was it? So Machlokes, Rashi and Ramban, according to Rashi, it seems to be if a Kohen is going to give a bracha, the best bracha a Kohen can give is Birkat Kohanim. And Ramban says, no, we should be a little Rebbeisha, Rebbeisha it up, and again, give a good more geschmack. But to Rashi, the best bracha, Kohen. So was Shlomo Aviner holding like Rashi? So I thought so, but then I realized 2 years later, she married a Kohen. So it really was a good bracha.
Not his grandson or something,
No, that would have been a better story. Maybe next time I'll tell the story, it'll be that way. So this bracha of the Birkos Kohanim, we're going to, Mir Hashem, come back to. Oh, we got to go fast. Okay, because it ties it all together.
Wait.
We're not done yet. So the question is, Mr. Katz, you asked. So when were these 7 days? And let's just remember. So we're going to skip. So Bamidbar, you have to look at this. We can't skip it. Bamidbar Zayin, Pasuk Aleph. Vayihi b'yom kalot Moshe lahakim et hamishkan. On the day that Moshe finished erecting the Mishkan, v'imshach oto v'yikadesh oto v'kol kelav, he anointed it and everything, v'tamizbeach v'kol kelav v'imshachem v'yikadesh otam, v'yikrivu nesi'ei Yisrael Moshe beit avotam. The Nesiim, how many Nesiim were there? 12 Nesiim, we know that. They started bringing the korban the day that Moshe Rabbeinu finished erecting the Mishkan. So how could that be? So if the Kohanim started their 7 days of training the day that Moshe Rabbeinu erected the Mishkan, like the order seems to say, so how could the Nesiim start bringing karbonos? There are no Kohanim to do it. Who's going to bring it? There are 2 ways to explain it. One is the way Rashi explains it. There are really 2 midrashim. Rashi explains it that really the Kohanim... What does it say here? B'yom kalos Moshe lakim et hamishkan. When Moshe Rabbeinu finished erecting the Mishkan, so all 7 days, Moshe Rabbeinu was taking apart the Mishkan, putting it back together for 7 days as practice to teach everybody how to do it. And on the last day of the 7 days of the Miluim, when the Kohanim were learning, then he finished doing it. And then right after that, the next day, the Nesiim started. That's the way Rashi understands it. Ramban understands it differently. Ramban says, no, everything has to go in order. And the end of Shmos, Moshe Rabbeinu erected the Mishkan the last day, and it was the first day of Nisan. So on that day, the 7 days started. So if you look at your calendar on here, so we have 23 Adar. According to Rashi, 23 Adar is when the first 7 prakim of Vayikra, Moshe Rabbeinu taught it. 23 Adar. The 7 days of the Miluim started then. And Yom HaShmini was Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And that's why if you look in the story of Nadav and Avihu, Rashi is talking about the Korban Musaf for Rosh Chodesh. Why the Musaf of Rosh Chodesh? Because it was Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And then the 12 days of the Miluim, I highlighted in green the important days. 12th day, the last day of the Nisim, was 12 Nisan. And then 2 days later, Erev Pesach. Erev Pesach, Shechalios B'Shabbos. They must have eaten, I don't know, egg matzah that day. No, they ate mun. They ate the mun. And it had the taste of egg matzah. Okay, but according to Ramban, everything happens in order. So this gets complicated. This is actually going to blow your mind. It blew my mind when I realized this, and that's what the Ramban says it explicitly. 1 Nisan started the 7 days of the Miluim. The 8th day was the 8th of Nisan, and that's when Nadav and Avihu died. When the Nesiim started bringing, so what happened on the 8th day must have been the Kohanim brought their korbanos in the morning. The Nasi brought his korban in the morning, and only after that, Nadav and Avihu brought the strange fire and died, and then there was all sorts of tumah and problems then. That was the first day of the Nesiim. The Nesiim continued bringing, even on Erev Pesach, even on Yontiv. The last day that the Nesiim brought was on 19 Nisan, which is Khilah Marine Pesach. The Nesiim were bringing their korbanos even on Pesach itself. Even on Erev Pesach. The busiest day, so the guy, I didn't figure out who this is. The guy who got the worst deal was the Nasi on Erev Pesach. Because it must have been so busy that day, right? Really hectic day, and that's his, no, okay. So,
you think about hectic day, for Pesach, or today you have Hamed and all that stuff. They didn't have all that stuff. They had the man all the time.
Right, so cleaning for...
No chametz,
so that's not a problem.
There's no dishes to clean. There's no like what you have today and all this craziness.
Right, the craziness was the Korban Pesach.
Korban Pesach.
Yeah,
okay.
on Shabbat.
You bring korban on a different day also.
Yeah,
All
okay.
the time.
Okay. I'm just saying, if I was a Nasi, I would have preferred a different day, where I could take my time. Here it was...
Maybe you'll feel special if it's your day.
Okay. So, okay.
He has to get it right the first time also.
Sorry?
He has to get it right the first time also. If it came out the first time, he's got a lot of pressure going on also.
The pressure was on everybody, except the Kohanim had 7 days to train. That's it.
He's got the added pressure of he can't use his mom.
So there's one midrash. This is actually Targum Yonasan, who says that the 7 days of the Miluim actually began on Chav Gimel Adar, which is what we understand. That's Rashi. So the Ramban is a little more complicated. Where do you see a midrash that says like the Ramban? You have to work backwards. There were Tmeim Lenefesh on Erev Pesach, 14 Pesach. And one opinion, so the Gemara says there were Tmeim on that day, but not the next. So the 7th day of their Tumah was on 14 Nisan, Erev Pesach. So one opinion in the Midrash and in the Gemara, this is Rabbi Kiva, is that they were Mishael and El-Safan, who were Tameh for taking out Nadav and Avihu, which means 7 days prior was Yom HaShmini. So if you look on the calendar, 7 days before 14 Nisan was 8 Nisan. That's the Ramban's Shita. The Ramban is holding like Rabbi Akiva. Okay, so almost out of time. But so what's going on? So what's the story here? The story through all of Vayikra is up until is these 9 days, approximately 9 days of When kids are out of school, say older kids, and it's in between times, right? So you ask them, what did you do today? And they'll say, well, I went to the post office. And that was a day. And they'll say, and I'm exhausted, right? Now, if I ask my wife what she did in a day, she would say, well, I went to the post office, I went to the supermarket, and I went to work, and afterwards I picked the kids, and then... Those 9 days were so jam-packed with activity of Klal Yisrael. So I used to read it, and I'd think, okay, so the Nasi would bring his korban, and that was it. What was going on really was that this was the inaugural time, a year after Yetzias Mitzrayim, when Kvod Hashem returned to Klal Yisrael after they lost it. This was big a deal. So if you still have your Chumash open to Perek Zayin, Perek Zayin, Pasuk Aleph is when Moshe Rabbeinu finished erecting the Mishkan. What comes right before it? Yevarecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, yer Hashem panav v'elecha v'birkas kohanim. So why would Rashi say that Aaron gave the bracha? Did he give? He gave Birkas Kohanim, because that's literally they were taught it just then. It comes right before this passage of Moshe Rabbeinu finishing it. So if, like Rashi said, the 7 days ended with Hakamat HaMishkan, the Mishkan is finished, and then that day they learn Birkat Kohanim. The next day Aaron brings his own korban, kapara for Chet Egel, and he does said the Birkat Kohanim he just learned the previous day. Beautiful. It all works. It all fits together. So we don't have time to talk about Mukdamu Ma'achar B'Torah and Mukdam Ma'achar B'Torah. If you look at the beginning of Bamidbar, it's out of order, and Ramban says, you know what? That I agree is out of order because the dates are 1 month later. But other than that, the Ramban says everything follows in order, which is why he believes the 7 days of Miluim started Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and then it continued in that jam-packed time between learning the Karbanos, finishing the Mishkan, the 8th day when the Nisim started, when Aaron brought the Karbanos, when Nadav and Avihu died, and Mishal and Al-Safan became Tama for 7 days, and then boom, it's already Erev Pesach, and the first Pesach after Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's a jam-packed time. And this, so after Perek Yud, when does everything happen? It all happens, possibly, the next day, the 9th day. If you look at Achrei Mos, Shnei Bnei Aaron, all these halachas they were taught, seems like on the 9th day, the day after Nadav and Avihu died, the rest of Sefer Vayikra was taught to Klal Yisrael. All the halacha, which makes sense according to the Ramban. The Ramban Sefer Vayikra is about kedusha, it's about tahara, it's about how we keep the Shechina with us. So the 8th day, the Shechina returns, and the 9th day, Moshe Rabbeinu teaches us all the halachos of the arayos, of kashrus, of toma and tara. This is how the Shechina just returned yesterday. This is how we keep it. And that's the 9th. I don't have a proof that it was all on the 9th day. It could have been 10th, 11th, 12th. But it seems like it all happened in that jam-packed period where they received the Shechina and they learned how to keep the Shechina there. And that, I believe, is the story of Sefer Vayikra. Okay, I think it's time for Ma'ariv. Finish exactly on time.
Thank you, Gil. Thank you to the Cover